Hello, 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 and welcome to Beverly's Kitchen. It is me. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do we do on Fridays? I try to show you how to make a marvelous meal from scratch at home. Not only is it a marvelous meal, but it is always better than the restaurant. What are we going to make today, Beverly? I always have to think about it. Today we're making a great meal. When I say a great meal, it is a great meal. It's some things that I've made before and some that I have not. So this is not just one dish. Today we are going to make a complete meal. We are making grilled teriyaki pork chops. And with that, we are making an applesauce. So we are going to serve the applesauce with the pork chops. Not only that, I have some okra from my garden. So we're going to make some fried okra. Not only that, but we are also going to make some baked potatoes. No, we're not making baked potatoes. And I'm not going to edit that out. We're not making baked potatoes. We are making some creamy mashed potatoes. So we are going to begin, and I'm going to show you all of the ingredients. I have several stations here. So when I prepare to cook, I like to put everything together. So I have 4 different stations. So my first station is for my pork chops. So here we have the pork chops that have been marinating in a teriyaki sauce. You can use any type of teriyaki sauce. This one I use because it was on sale. With that, I have some onion powder and some garlic powder that I just mixed together. We have some seasoning salt. We have a little portion of an onion that I had left over. You always want to use your leftovers from my garden. So if you follow me, if you watch me, you know that I have a garden. It's a patio garden, so it's a small garden. So it harvests small vegetables because a vegetable can only be as big as the container that you put it in. That's what I learned this year. But there's so many other lessons to that. So I have a bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and then I have my beautiful golden yellow pepper. I did not want to cut it, and it's been on the branch for so long, and I finally realized that it was not going to grow anymore, so we're going to use that. Also for my garden, I grow all herbs. So we have everything: thyme, oregano, parsley, and rosemary. That's what we have. So today we have some fresh thyme. So that is the station for our pork chops. So I'm just going to push this aside, and I'm going to share with you the next station, which is for our applesauce, apple chutney, whatever you want to call it. I have a 1.5 cups of some apple cider. I have 3 apples. I have chosen to use McIntosh apples. It's very good for applesauce because it gives a really, really good texture. I am using some vanilla flavoring. We have some ginger, a lemon. There is a secret ingredient that I got from watching Rachel Ray, and this is some golden raisins. I have about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and we have some brown sugar. So that is the applesauce station, and we are just gonna push that to the side. Then we have my favorite, which is the okra. So it's not a lot, but it's enough for a side dish. I have my okra here, grown from a little seed, believe it or not. This okra is called emerald green okra. Some of them grow longer because I don't catch them. I don't see them because they blend in with the leaves. So we are going to slice this, and we are going to fry it. And I didn't have any buttermilk, which I usually use to soak the okra in. So I'm just going to use a mixture of some egg and flour. And we're also going to use cornmeal. We're going to mix those together for the breading. Of course, we have our salt, and we have some ground pepper. So we're going to move that aside, and then we're going to go to the last station, which is for the potatoes. So I have a few russet potatoes. And sometimes when I'm deciding what I'm gonna cook, I just go through my pantry, I go through the refrigerator, and I see what do I have and how can I put it all together. So this is one of those I'm just putting it all together recipes, aside from the applesauce, because I don't usually purchase raisins. So we have 3 russet tomatoes. I have some sour cream. I have some butter, and I also have, which I did not take out, we're gonna use some heavy whipping cream. So there you have it. Yes, it is a lot of ingredients. However, it is a complete meal. We are not just making a dish today. Today we are making a meal. So why do we make meals as opposed to dishes? That's a good question. Because when you feel like cooking, you make a meal. When you just want something to eat, you just make a dish. So today we're making a complete meal. And as you watch this video, I ask that, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, but most of all, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am over 100 subscribers, so I am so excited about that because that was my goal. And usually once I reach my goal on anything, I say that's it, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna keep it moving. I also would like to share with you that I do have a cookbook. The cookbook is called For the Love of Cooking. So within these pages are different recipes that I have tried over and over again. So you get the directions, you get all the ingredients, and it is really for, if you just want to do something special for your spouse, if you want to be in the kitchen with your grandchildren, if you're a college student and you're away and you realize that you really don't know how to cook, this is the cookbook for you. They are easy recipes, and I try to give precise directions so that you can see whatever the picture of whatever that page is. What I'm making today is not in the cookbook. However, it still has layers and layers and layers of flavor. All right, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna chop up our apples. Again, I have Macintosh apples. You can use granny apples. You can use golden apples. And I'm gonna cut them in quarters. And I am going to just take out the middle and the seeds, just like that. I debated on whether or not I was gonna leave the skins on, and I decided to go ahead and to leave them on. It'll give the applesauce some texture, and because it's gonna be cooking for a while, it'll be soft and it won't be chewy or hard to bite. Okay, I am almost done cutting the apples. And then I just put them in chunks. Goes the seed. So I cut them like this. That. Then immediately what I want to do is I want to take my lemon, and we're going to cut it in half. And we're going to squeeze the lemon over the apples to keep them from turning brown, because it's exposed to air. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands. I have a pan on the oven right now. Let me bring you here. So we're gonna use this pan here. I'm gonna put it on medium low, and I'm going to add my apples. And I'm doing the apples first, of course, because they're gonna take the most time to cook. I'm gonna take the rest of this lemon juice, now that I have them all spread out. I think we got it all. We're gonna add our liquid, which is 1.5 cups of apple cider. You can also use apple juice. So I've heard Remember, I have never made this before. We're going to take 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a half a teaspoon of, oh, that was cinnamon. So that was a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then this is the half of teaspoon of nutmeg. Again, this recipe is from Rachel Ray, although I am adding a few ingredients that she did not, like a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And here are about a 1/4 cup of the golden raisins. Our next step are our potatoes. So we could do a couple of things with the potatoes. We could bake the potatoes and then mash them. We could also put them in the microwave, which I do a lot. But for today, we are going to boil the potatoes. So before I boil the potatoes, I'm going to take the time to go ahead and peel the potatoes. I have this wonderful potato peeler. You know how the internet gets you. You're on Facebook and something pops up, an advertisement, and it was potato peelers. And I went for it, but I'm glad I did. Potatoes are another vegetable that you don't want to leave out. The air oxidizes it or causes it to turn a dark color. So in order to avoid that, what we do is we place the potato in cold water. Okay, so we have our potatoes, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut them in chunks. Let me wash this one off. So the other ones are in water. And I also have the water boiling, and I also have the water salted. So when you boil potatoes, you just like with pasta, you want to make sure that the water is salted. And I think I'm also going to use a bouillon cube. That's my secret ingredient with everything. Whether I'm cooking rice or grits or any type of fresh vegetable, I love to cook it in a bouillon cube. And just 1 to a gallon of water, just 1. All right, I'm gonna put these in the water. I wish you could smell what is going on in Beverly's kitchen. It smells absolutely delicious. It smells like applesauce. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare our okra. And again, this is fresh. You can't get no better than that. I'm going to take off the tops. And sometimes I slice them down the middle. I really like that. I really like the way it looks. Look at that. See all the seeds in the middle? And you can just eat it just like this. It tastes absolutely, I guess my favorite word is absolutely. It tastes very, very good. It's nice and fresh. It's not slimy. You could take this, you could put it on a salad. You could have an okra salad. It's really different when it's fresh than when you buy it in the store. Because when you buy it in the store, it's been off the plant, off the stalk, whatever you want to call it, for a couple of weeks. Maybe even up to 2 months. So these are just fresh out of the garden within the last week. See that? It just looks pretty. Okay, so we have our okra. We have some flour here. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of flour. Make sure you can see that. 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of cornmeal. This is white cornmeal. Okay. And to that, I'm going to add some seasoning salt, about a teaspoon, and then some of that onion and garlic powder mixture. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, and we cannot forget cracked black pepper. If you follow me, you know, or if you don't, I love black pepper. I love it, I love it, I love it. So that our batter is seasoned. So I have my pan right here. And I just put the olive oil in there. Let me put this away. Check on our apples. And they are getting nice and soft, and you can smell. But I just remembered I forgot an ingredient. So here we have our ginger. And what I'm gonna do is just gonna cut a piece. Right knife. Gonna peel it. This is a whole piece, so we're not chopping it up and putting it in. So glad I saw that. So we're gonna take this ginger and we're just gonna put it in there and let the flavor of the ginger permeate through the apples. It's gonna be hard to find it though, but that's what we're gonna do. Okay, back to the okra. So I have the heat on. Okay, so I have the heat on for the okra. I have our batter mixture here. And we are going to crack 1 egg. I learned in home economics in 9th grade that you never crack an egg and put it in the mixture in case the egg is bad. Although in my 55 years of life, I have never had a bad egg. Okay, so I have my egg that I mixed, and I also have here my flour and cornmeal mixture. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bread it, just like that. Nothing fancy, just making sure that the breading is sticking to the okra. Our apples are almost done. Our potatoes are doing well, just boiling away. To make sure everything is coated, I finally decided to do the old-fashioned way and just put everything in the brown paper bag. And I'm gonna just stick the okra in the brown paper bag. And we gonna ship the brown paper bag. And, oh yeah, that looks so much better. And I'm just gonna place them in flat side down. Put as many in there as we can. They'll take different times to cook. Of course, the larger ones will take a longer amount of time. The apples are complete. You can see right there, those are all done. So while those are frying, I'm going to get a potato masher, and I'm just going to mash some of the apples. I don't want a smooth sauce. I want it to be nice and chunky. And it tastes so good. I mean, the lemon, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the ginger. You can taste all the layers of flavor. Okay, so that dish is complete. Check on our potatoes and see how soft they are. You want them soft enough to mash. Those are done. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the okra out. Sprinkle just with a little salt, just a little. And here are our potatoes. What I've done to the potatoes is I've just drained the water out, and I'm going to use a half a stick of butter. Oh, this is still hot. It'll be all right. I'm going to use a half a stick of butter to the potatoes. Mix that in while mashing them at the same time. Let me move the okra out of the way. Bring you a little bit closer so you can see. To this, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Just a little bit, because I already salted the water. And some pepper. Sour cream. Maybe about heaping tablespoon. And to this, I'm going to add some heavy cream. About 1/4 cup. Okay, let me make sure this does not need anything. Delicious. All right, we are down. We are down to our last dish. We are down to the last dish. We have completed the applesauce. We have made the mashed potatoes. We have fried the okra, and now we are going to grill the pork chops. So the pork chops, as I told you, have been marinating in a teriyaki sauce. You can use any type of teriyaki sauce. I used one that was on sale. And what I'm doing is I am going to season it with some seasoning salt. This here is a mixture of onion powder and garlic powder. I'm going to put just a little bit of salt. And of course, we've got to have our black pepper. After I put my seasonings on, I kind of rub it around, make sure that it's there on the sides and even over by the bone. I have a cast iron grill. Let me bring you over here so you can see, and I believe that it is ready. Let's see. I'm gonna let that cook for about 6 minutes, but I'm gonna put the timer on 5 minutes. Okay, I just turned them over. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put some thyme under here, under each one, along with the onion. And I'm just gonna grill some peppers on the side. Okay, I just took the pork chops out. This is what they're looking like, along with the vegetables. This is what they're looking like along with the vegetables. That completes the last dish. And now we are just going to put it all together.